Well, it was a long, hard-fought battle with traffic and blockages, but I finally made it over here before dark, and I'm on the Cahaba River looking for some Cahaba bass. We talk a lot about the adventure part of red-eye bass fishing. Every once in a while, though, you get lucky and you have an actual honest-to-God road that you can follow to shortcut a lot of waiting to get up to the better stuff, which, since I have only about an hour tonight before it gets dark, I'm going to take full advantage of. So every once in a while you do get lucky. The Cahaba River flows right through downtown Birmingham. We're on the north side of it before it reaches Birmingham, so, but there's still a lot of people around, so you have a little more amenities in places like this than some of the other places that we chase red-eye bass in. And the river looks beautiful tonight. So the Cahaba River is one of the only undammed rivers in Alabama, of any size anyway. It does have a couple in the very extreme upper part of the Birmingham metro area. It has a couple little low-head dams up there that just kind of back it up for water intakes. No hydropower whatsoever on this entire river. Pretty rare in Alabama. Most of the rivers are highly impounded for navigation and for hydropower. But this is the one that escaped it. And the only drawback is it also goes right through the middle of downtown Birmingham. So obviously it has a lot of urban influence there. But this is probably the crown jewel of the Alabama rivers in terms of biodiversity and less impact from hydropower. There's a lot of rare and imperiled species that live here, not just of fish, but also of mussels, crayfish, and even snails. So, but a super cool place to go try to catch some endemic black bass, the Cahaba bass. Second fish is another Alabama bass. You can see the telltale sign of these guys. They're kind of in a more olive color than green, like a real spotted bass. And notice the blotches that kind of continue down onto the tail instead of becoming a broad stripe like they normally would. If you took time to look at lateral line scales and around the tail scales, these would both have higher numbers than what you would find in a Micropterus punctulatus, the actual spotted bass. If I remember correctly, the lateral line scales are usually in the high 70s or 80s, but for the spotted bass it's more in the upper 60s. And likewise, I don't remember the exact number, but the around the tail scales are greater for this fish than the other one. What that really means is that these scales, the scales of these fish, are smaller than the spotted bass scales. Other than that, they look pretty similar. Again, this guy a little more streamlined than a spotted bass would be of the same size. A little more olive and less green. But anyone who's followed either the videos on this page or the What's That Bass Wednesday on the Facebook page knows that coloration is extremely variable and not to be relied on. But anyway, another Alabama bass in its native range for a change, so that's kind of interesting and different for me. And but I'm here for the endemic, so let's see if we can try to get one. Well, better late than never, I always say. As it's getting too dark to even see anything, Mr. Cahaba bass finally comes by for a visit just before I quit for the night. Caught 4 or 5 Alabama bass, and finally this guy. It's usually exactly the opposite here. Cahaba bass are one of those red-eye bass with not a lot of distinguishing characteristics. You certainly have the eye crescent you can see right there. You have the white-tipped fins or tail that you can see right there. Not a lot of color, if any, on the anal fins or the dorsal fin. You don't have that stripe on them like you have for the Alabama bass, and you have those closely spaced spots below the lateral line. So all of that screams red-eye bass, but none of this really says, oh, Cahaba bass. They still have the blue face, nowhere near like some of the other bass or other red-eyes do. But this is the endemic species of red-eye bass that lives only in the Cahaba Basin And again, here we are on the Cahaba River itself, above Birmingham. So you look at the streaks on the cheek, pretty much nondescript scale there. You do have some of those iridescent scales like the Tallapoosa bass on the back, and then you have your white tip fins. So some of them have some barring and some of them don't, quite frankly. But this is Mr. Cahaba bass from the Cahaba River, and this is my cue to head to the truck and head for home. But it's been a quick but good trip here, and I look forward to coming back on an extended version in the daylight where we can actually see these guys a little bit better. I'm still not 100% sure where I am, but I know if I follow the river I will eventually come back to my car. You can chalk this up to the ongoing Takes a Special Kind of Crazy Person series, because it definitely takes a special kind of crazy person to be bushwhacking through a woods in near dark, it's not dark, thank God, without a light, because I was in such a hurry to get out of here, left it in the car of course, to catch a couple 10-inch bass. But it's all part of the game.